Oh, Salam alaikum everyone. Thank you, Arab Stylist. Hi everyone, I'm Anam and we'll be discussing a few things today. So a little bit about myself. I'm a makeup artist. I've done my bachelor's in marketing. I'm currently an MSc student at London South Bank University. A lot of my non-Muslim friends say, women of Islam are quite suppressed and not allowed to do things. However, I beg to differ that they're not suppressed because in the Quran that's not what it says at all. Whereas in comparison to being here, in general, women of Islam have all the rights in the world. So basically, my non-Muslim friend thought that, we are locked up in a cage, literally in a cage. Islam means peace, yeah? So therefore, our religion doesn't allow a man to oppress a woman in any sense of form. I think it's unfair that a lot of people are following the Jahiliyyah, where they don't understand what the Quran actually says to them. Both suppression and oppression is haram in Islam, and to be used against a woman is even more haram for a man. The reason non-Muslims think like this is because Muslims themselves make it difficult for the non-Muslims to understand. So there's an example. There was this woman and she was married and she didn't believe in divorce. She was like, divorce is the last resort. She tried to save her marriage. She tried to stick out her marriage, but her man, the ex-husband, was a cheat. He cheated on her twice, everything. Literal clash in culture. There was this whole thing that, he was oppressing her and she was taking on the oppression. It led to domestic violence, the marriage, and that was it. And then she then realised this marriage cannot go on. She then realised and did her reading and realised that, hold on, she can take talaq, she's allowed. I mean, it's clearly in the Quran that, Surah Al-Talaq is there, and then there's a surah based on oppression as well. But it's those who follow culture, they stick out a marriage of oppression and suppression, and that's all so haram. In every culture, Arab, Asian, all cultures, I've seen that if you're divorced, it's like a big thing. It's haram, oh my god. Nah, it's not. I personally think that it's a sign of their judgment that, a lot of people are following the culture than religion and what the deen says. Example would be, it's like a Saudi has to marry a Saudi, a Yemeni has to marry a Yemeni, and so on and so forth. No, you guys need to be diverse. Most importantly, before anything, you're Muslim. You're Muslim. Not Arab, Asian, nothing. You're Muslim. We don't live in the time of Jahiliyyah or anything. We live in a time and era where people are diverse and mixing together, for example, I'm not a hypocrite. I'll tell you how it is. I personally think it's hypocrisy of people who come to this country and try. I think people are quite judgmental, especially when it comes to women, and that's not allowed. Because first look at yourself, then look at others. And it clearly states a woman's rights from A to Z. She has the right to educate herself. She has the right to live, work, everything. For example, I don't wear hijab, but it doesn't mean just because I don't wear hijab that I don't know about my deen at all. Hijab is like your beauty, to hide your beauty. It identifies you, makes you different from a non-Muslim to be a Muslim. Having said that, I still do my prayers, I still give charity, I still participate in Ramadan, everything. A lot of our men are quite hypocritical. It's like, oh, you have to do as we say and you need to shut your mouth and that's it. No, it doesn't work like that. My fellow Muslim brothers and sisters, having said all of this, it doesn't mean that I don't want to wear one. Inshallah, I intend to one day. Like my best friend is, she's a hijabi and I'm not a hijabi, but it's as long as you're dressed modest at the same time, you have to be dressed modest too. Now we all understand that there is equal rights in Islam because for a man and woman, and I'll tell you why in a second. My view is that a woman should be allowed to educate herself, finish her education. A man should do what he's been told to do in Islam. Obviously, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Firstly, equality, which means think of both East and West advocates. One thing that people must understand is Islam is the religion of equality. What they should say, Islam is the religion of justice. So for those who say Islam is a religion of equality, they're lying against Islam. Rather, you should refer it as that Islam is the religion of justice, which means treating equally those who are equal and different. The Quran actually mentions and denies and says the following. I quote from Surah Al-Zumur. Are those who know equal to those who know not? Surah Al-Ra'd, it says, is the blind equal to the one who sees, or darkness equal to the light? In other words, I could quote so many surahs, but in other words, basically, Quran enjoys equality while it enjoys justice. There are differences between man and woman, definitely. For example, men are protectors of their household. Yeah? I have noticed because we live in a Western country, men think, yeah, you know what, everything's equal, blah, 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 blah. You're all wrong. Wrong. Men are protectors and maintainers of women because Allah has made one of them to excel other and because to spend to maintain. So not only because of what they've been taught, the culture, but men think that they have this real upper hand over women. That's wrong. A man is not allowed to abuse a woman physically or even mentally because that in itself is haram.